of the AgBMP Technical Advisory Committee to order. Have some opening remarks, so we have to go over this before we get going. Generally, public bodies are prohibited from meeting electronically under the provisions of the Freedom of Information Act. However, emergency language approved by the Governor and General Assembly in the 2020 Appropriations Act allows us to move forward with certain restrictions that I'll outline below. Before I review those provisions, please let me take a moment to review how this meeting will work. We want to allow for participation by TAC members, staff, and members of the public who wish to comment. However, it's essential that we're able to manage the conversation effectively. I am chairing this meeting today. Mark Holberg, who I'll give some much thanks to, is the chair of the Stream Protection Subcommittee. Mark, Marissa Rowland, and Christine Watlington are all assisting today with presentations, responding to comments, and the overall coordination of the meeting. Please be patient with us as we work through this. We understand and appreciate the challenges. Obviously, we've been through 2 meetings so far with the Stream Protection Subcommittee via this format, but this is a larger group. Chapter 1289 of the 2020 Acts of Assembly, known as the Budget Bill, includes language addressing the ability of public bodies to conduct electronic meetings without the need for a quorum being present in a physical location. This language was submitted as an amendment by the Governor and approved by the General Assembly at their April 22nd, 2020 reconvened session. The Governor subsequently signed the Budget Bill, and the bill was effective as of July 1st, 2020. So the Budget Bill allows public bodies to hold electronic meetings when the Governor has declared a state of emergency pursuant to Section 44-146.17 if the nature of the declared emergency makes it impracticable or unsafe for the public body or governing board to assemble in a single location, and the purpose of the meeting is to discuss or transact the business statutorily required or necessary to continue operations of the public body and the discharge of its lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities. The department has determined that the nature of the declared emergency makes it impractical or unsafe for the public body or governing board to assemble in a single location. The department finds that the purpose of this meeting is to discuss or transact the business statutorily required or necessary to continue operations of the public body and the discharge of its lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities. The department will make available a recording or a transcript of this meeting on its website in accordance with the timeframes established in sections 2.2-3707 and 2.2-3707.1 of the Code of Virginia. Also, just so you all know, the comments in the chat room will also be preserved as a public record. Official minutes of this meeting will be drafted and posted in accordance with regular procedures. The Budget Bill does not allow an electronic meeting to discuss or transact business, though, for any purpose. Rather, agenda items that the public body plans to take up must be statutorily required or necessary to continue operations and discharge lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities. The Budget Bill requires compliance with the provisions of Section 2.2-3708.2. Therefore, in accordance with this section, public bodies must include a telephone number that may be used to notify the public body of any interruption in the telephonic or video broadcast of the meeting. So, in the event that a disruption occurs, you might want to write this number down. Participants should contact Christine Watlington by phone or text at 804-564-1897. Again, that's 804-564-1897. Additionally, if there is an interruption in the broadcast, the meeting must be suspended till public access is restored. Those provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act not addressed by the Budget Bill remain in effect. And before we continue with the business portion of the meeting, I will ask Mark to call the roll for the TAC members and anticipated staff. Other participants, if you are someone that's here that is not a TAC member or a proxy, please do put your name and affiliation in the chat box, which you can find in the top right of your screen. And if you are participating by phone and your name is not called, please do call or text Christine at the number I mentioned before, 804-564-1897. And in addition, if at any time you lose connection and are unable to reconnect, please contact Christine at the same number. So with all that said, I will now turn to Mark for the calling of the roll, and I will note that if you are a proxy, please do speak up when the person you're filling in for is called. So over to you, Mark.
All right, well, greetings, everyone. I have a roster of our CAC committee, and I'll just go down the list and ask you to acknowledge your presence. And if you can, acknowledge your absence. I'd like to see you try that. Adrian Catula.
I'm here.
Super. And Achilles.
Here.
And Coates. Thomas Jefferson, SWCD, or Lisa Hyatt as proxy. All right. We'll count Ann Coates as absent, at least for the moment. Brandon Distelin.
Here.
Dilliston, sorry. All right, great. Carrie Swanson.
I'm here.
Connor Miller.
Here.
Super. Dana Gokenauer.
I'm here.
Daryl Marshall.
I'm here.
And David, who we've heard is here. David Bryan.
I'm here.
Eric Paulson. Or proxy Kevin Phillips. Eric, of course, is with the State Dairymen's Association. I'll mark him as absent, at least for the moment.
I'm sorry, I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Oh, Eric is here?
yes.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
Sorry about
No sweat. Gary Boring.
Here.
Jay Yankee. Prince William SWCD, or Jim Gilson. I'll mark them absent for the moment. Jim Riddell.
Here.
Super. Joe Gerdes, or Joe Gerds. James River. Let's see, James River SWCD. Brianna Mooring is his proxy. All right, I'll mark Joe as absent, at least for the moment. Keith Burgess.
Here.
Kevin Dunn. Could be Kelly Snoddy as proxy for Peter Francisco SWCD. Kevin or Kelly. I will mark Kevin as absent for the moment, at least. Kyle Shreve.
I'm here.
Super. Luke Ongenecker.
Here.
Martha Moore or Stephanie Kitchen. Farm Bureau. Absent for the time being, at least. Sort of anticipated that. Matt Kowalski.
I'm here.
Super. Megan Dalton.
I'm here.
Michael Tabor.
I'm here.
Rachel Winter. Headwaters.
I'm here, Mark.
Super. Ricky Rash.
I'm here.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Robert Bradford.
I'm here.
Good deal. Sharon Connor.
I'm here.
All right. Steve Escobar. Horse Council.
This is Ben Chester. I'm his proxy.
Gotcha, Ben. Put a check mark by your name. Super. Let's see. Stephen Meeks with the association or Wayne Davis. Neither of those are responding at the moment, at least. Although I think I did see Kendall was on the call. Todd Groh or Dean Cumbia with Department of Forestry.
Yes, Todd Groh, I'm here.
Hey, Todd. All right. Tom Turner.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. And Tricia Mays
I'm here.
and Willie Wood.
Present.
All right. Well, David, that's the roll call on the voting members of the TAC. So I think we are just missing Farm Bureau, Kevin Dunn, 1, 2, 3, Joe Gerds, 4 is Jay Yankee, and Ann Coates. That make 5. Check myself.
Yeah, and Kendall, are you filling in for Stephen Mix today?
I can. I've been in touch with him. He's trying to log in right now, and we'll be on as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so we'll count the association as present as soon as he logs in, I guess, technically.
All right, well, sounds good.
So so that 1, 2, 3, 4 members absent. And if we have 32 voting members, 4 absence takes us down to 28. That would mean that 23 yes votes are needed to pass anything. Flip it around, 5 votes can kill something.
I saw Lisa Hyatt come in.
Woo!
Everything.
All right, Lisa Hyatt. Lisa. Let's see. And she is with, oh yeah, for Thomas Jefferson.
All right, I think we're
That
good
takes
on.
us-
I am getting a lot of feedback on my end. I don't know who that's from particularly.
All right, how do I mute my line because I'm in a dump truck?
Oh, that
Driving? Are you driving?
Hauling corn, dude. What do you want me to do?
Put it in
Pound.
baby.
What is it, pound 6? Star 6? What is
Basically
it?
Star 6. Star 6. All right. Yeah, you can use star 6, or if you're on your phone, just hit the mute button on your phone. You should be good. Anyway, we will go ahead and move forward with the agenda. We have quorum, and we're good to go. First, I just wanted to say thank you to the Stream Protection and Forestry Subcommittee. To give the rest of the TAC members just a little bit of background in a minute or two. When the General Assembly mandated this portable fencing spec, a team of DCR employees first put together a draft spec that went to the Stream Protection Subcommittee, and a lot of the ideas that were put forward, some were recommended to move, some were recommended to change. Plenty of ideas were spouted out for the first meeting, and so DCR edited the spec some more, and then came back for a second meeting last month. And hopefully all of you TAC members had a chance to review the meeting minutes, the draft minutes, because if you did, you'll notice that we had a lot of votes last time at the Stream Protection Subcommittee meeting, particularly on the issue of rates. And we had to make some compromises from both directions. And in the end, I was happy to say at the end of the day, we did have a unanimous spec that came out of the Stream Protection and Forestry Subcommittee. So thanks to you all for joining us for those 2 meetings. I know some of the stream protection subcommittee members are also full TAC members with us today, so they will have some of that background going into this meeting. Others of you may not have been as involved in the development of the spec. So with that said, I do want to turn it over to Mark Holberg, and who again has been chairing that subcommittee, and he is going to review the spec, which Christine, it looks like, has put up on the screen in front of you.
All right, thank you very much. And I hope you all have had a chance to review this. I'll try to hit some of the highlights point by point. Of course, the format of the spec is familiar to all of you, typical of any of our AgBMP specs. And I'll dip into description and purpose, protection by portable fencing along all live streams and water in a field. So of course it remains a field by field practice. Purpose of the practice: offer incentive to exclude livestock. Policies and specifications. B1, practice will provide a portable fencing system for protection of all live streams or live water to prevent direct deposition of livestock waste and to protect stream banks, etc., etc. B2, no minimum fencing standards are required. We're trying to keep this as simple as possible and remove barriers to participation. Let's see. Again, back to B2. However, producers are required to exclude livestock from all streams, live water in the field or fields at all times, except where a stable limited access point is utilized. Of course, that'll be up to the field technician as to use their best technical judgment. There was a lot of discussion about verbiage of stable versus hardened access, but this is where we are at the moment. B3, portable fence may be placed at the top of the bank. B4, provision of water is the responsibility of the producer in the field or fields where the portable fencing system will be utilized. Then those other elements, permanent water system, stable access point, et cetera, are up to the participant. B5 is pretty much right out of the WP2 spec. Wildlife, environmental, and livestock shade considerations must be given. B6, standard statement about flash grazing not allowed. B7, 5-year lifespan. Of course, we had a lot of back and forth on lifespan, thinking initially perhaps it'd be an annual practice, but we've settled on a 5-year lifespan. B8, this is standard, subject to spot checks. B9, this is a notion from the WP2 specification. Lifespan requirements can be waived at the discretion of the district board if the system is destroyed by flooding. B10, this is a box. District board may waive the lifespan requirement of this practice for any participant that loses control of the land. That's whether it's a landowner participant or a renter participant. Our committee thinks that this practice may fit a niche for the renters. And this B10 policy should even give further control to a renter or landowner if they lose control of their land. So that's a big deal. B11, practice is eligible for re-enrollment and replacement after the lifespan expires, akin to CCI practices. Rates, needless to say, there was a lot of discussion about rates at the last subcommittee meeting, but we did settle and present to you this notion of 30 cents per linear foot of fence and a flat rate payment of $250 per charger required for the effective use of the fencing system. And the least cost, technically feasible manner of design. So special attention needs to be paid that, unlike CCIs that pay on foot of exclusion, stream bank exclusion, this pays on linear foot of portable fencing. And then finally, D is stock language insofar as technical responsibilities. So there you have it. That's what your Stream Protection Committee presents to you as we unanimously approved at our last meeting on the 7th of October. And I hope that suffices somewhat for a review of the spec. So, David? Where is David?
Oh, here I am.
There you go.
I was just talking on mute. Anyway, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. This is the point in the meeting. We'll entertain if there's any of the TAC members have any comments or motions to move forward with the practice. Again, we are glad to be at this point where we finally got unanimous consent from the subcommittee, but we're curious to hear what the TAC committee members feel.
Hey, David, this is Matt Kowalski, and procedurally, I have a question. Do you need a motion to accept the minutes from the Stream Committee and Forestry, the most recent subcommittee meeting that was sent out?
No, because technically that's actually the Stream Protection Subcommittee's job to do that, because most of the people on this full TAC are not members of the Stream Protection Subcommittee.
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to make sure we were dotting all our I's and crossing all our T's.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt.
Sure.
David, this is Jim Riddell with Virginia Cattlemen. Just want to say it was a lot of folks that had provided input. A lot of work went into what we've done over the last couple of meetings, and appreciate the folks looking at it seriously. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve as a full TAC the recommendation from the Stream and Forestry Committee.
All right, thank you, Jim. So we have a motion on the floor to accept the work of the Stream Protection Subcommittee as written in front of us. Do we have any seconds or any discussion?
It's scary.
I second that.
Who was the second? Sorry.
I did, Gary Boring. I think somebody else did too.
Okay, we'll go with you, Gary. But I appreciate whoever else that was. So we have a motion on the floor from Jim. Gary Boring has seconded. Any further discussion?
This is Keith Burgess. Just I guess a functionality question of it. Landowner participates in it and everything's going along and he pulls it up because it is temporary. A flood event's come predicted. He comes along and pulls it up. Are we just going to be looking at the material be on site when we do spot check?
The fencing we use during the lifespan of the practice to keep the cattle out of the stream. So certainly we understand there may be times when they could pull it up if they knew a flood was coming, and then put it right back after the flood. That makes sense. I will note we also did add in, this is similar to the WP2 to N&W practices. There's a statement on that second page. I think you can see it on the screen here. That if it's B9, lifespan requirements can be waived at the direction of the district board if the portable fencing system is destroyed by flooding. So I certainly would rather see someone pull up temporarily from the flood and put it back immediately afterwards than get it destroyed, but there is that provision.
Yeah, David, like I say, it's Keith. What I was thinking was that if it's temporary, they may just put it up while cattle are in there. When they pull the cattle off of it, during the winter months or something, it may be removed altogether. So we just would need to make sure that no cattle were in there and we could find the materials when we do a spot check.
Mhm.
David, this is
Any
Debbie.
other comments?
I have a question about number 8. It says the practice is subject to spot check from district staff annually. So does that mean that district staff will be spot checking all of these annually, or that they could check them annually?
Yeah, that's just standard language for it makes them eligible for spot check. They could be pulled in a year. They may be lucky enough to not get pulled at all. But yes, they are subject to spot checks.
But this is not a directive
Verification.
that district staff must spot check each one every year.
Correct.
Okay.
It's subject to spot check.
Correct. All right. Any other discussion? All right. Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor from Jim Riddell with the Cattlemen's Association, a second from Gary Boring. Mark, could you please take the vote? Roll call vote.
I sure will.
Can I go first and go back on mute?
Sure, Ricky.
Go right
I
ahead.
vote yes. I vote yes.
All right, go mute yourself. All right, I'll go back to the alphabetical by first name. Adrian Catula,
Aye.
Anna Killius,
Aye.
Lisa Hyatt,
Aye.
Brandon Dilston,
Aye.
Carrie Swanson,
Aye.
Connor Miller,
Aye.
Dana Gokenauer,
Aye.
Daryl Marshall,
Aye.
David Bryan, Eric Paulson,
Aye.
Gary Boring. Let's see, Jay Yankee is still absent, I presume. Jim Riddell,
Aye.
Joe Gertz, still absent, I presume. Keith Burgess,
Aye.
Kevin Dunn, I presume, is still absent. Kyle Shreve.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Kyle Shreve,
Aye.
Luke Longenecker,
Aye.
Martha Moore, and Farm Bureau, I presume, are still absent. Matt Kowalski,
Aye.
Megan Dalton,
Aye.
Michael Tabor,
Aye.
Rachel Winter,
Aye.
Ricky Rash has already voted aye. Robert Bradford,
Aye.
Sharon Connor,
Aye.
Ben Chester,
Aye.
Stephen Meeks, did you make it?
Yes, aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Todd Grove,
Aye.
thank you. Tom Turner,
Aye.
Tricia Mays,
Aye.
Willie Wood,
Aye.
thank you. That's unanimous by those present. I thank you, David. You're up.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. So we have a unanimous passing of the WP2P portable fencing system spec. It will move forward to the Soil Water Conservation Board next spring for inclusion into the PY22 program year 22 VAX manual. So with that said, does anybody have any other items? We are not allowed to go off script here. But any other comments or questions on the spec that was just passed? All right, hearing none, are there any public comments? All right, well, with that said, our full TAC meeting for the day is dismissed in record time. Just as a heads up, we do have those 2 webinars coming up. For those who are interested, next Thursday, November 12th is our cover crop and nutrient management webinar. It will be at 1 p.m. led by Bob Waring of DCR. And then Mark will be leading a stream protection webinar on December 1st, also at 1 p.m. And then our final full TAC webinar that just is sort of, really a big overview of everything, will be on December 17th, also at 1. I've sent out all the call-in information, but if you need it, or if you've lost it, just send me an email, I can get it to you. So with that, thank you all so much and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.